There was a response on the Cedar Street situation. Yeah, you're on mute, Jeff.
Yeah, I'll check it out after. Thank you. I haven't had a chance to read it yet.
Yeah. Yeah, we're going to be just about ready to roll. So. All right, Woody, you're the host now. All right, I like that. I mean, you're in charge.
It's because we lost Carrie.
She's not lost.
She's no longer connected.
She's drifting.
Is this recorded?
Mm-hmm. I prefer you weren't.
Timothy Rhines.
Rhines.
Uh-oh, I heard my name. Is there something wrong?
No, my daughter's on the side reading the names.
Oh, okay.
Timothy Rhines. She's read the name off the screen there.
Tell her I'm the boogeyman.
Is this guy in the background?
She know about the boogeyman?
Don't
Yeah.
scare the poor kid, Woody.
He's on the screen right now.
Boogeyman's a scary guy.
Oh, so fellas, we're not being recorded now. I did mention earlier, Jeff, before you came on, that
We're streaming
If anyone
live on YouTube,
contact-
though. We're streaming live on YouTube, though.
yeah, Kerry said she lost the internet connection. So we're streaming live. I'm going to call the meeting to order. It is 6:02 p.m. And I'm going to read the agenda. This is the Town of Dayton Planning Board regular meeting held remotely on Wednesday, March 3rd, 2020 at 6 p.m. Due to the increasing concerns surrounding the COVID-19 pandemic, this meeting / public hearing will be held remotely. Oh, she's back on. Let's give her a second.
All right, bear with me, guys. I don't know what's
Okay.
going on here. Sorry.
Yeah, it said it was live on YouTube in the corner, but I'm not sure if we are or not.
Yeah, it says. Let me double check. Bear with me.
Jeff, if you can receive a phone call from anyone in regards to Forest Hills Estate, please just refer them all to our office manager.
Okay, gentlemen, we are live and recording, so we are ready to start now. Sorry.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the Town of Dayton. This is the regular meeting of the Town of Dayton Planning Board held remotely on Wednesday, March 3rd at 2020 at 6 p.m. Due to the increasing concerns surrounding the COVID-19 pandemic, this meeting / public hearing will be held remotely with no physical meeting location. Those seeking to provide public input should do so using the methods listed below. Video and audio of the meeting will be aired on Comcast Local TV 9 at a later date. A live recording of the meeting will be available on the Town of Dayton YouTube channel, which can be accessed using this link, www.youtube.com/Town of Dayton Planning and Land Use. Public input may be provided using the following methods. Contact our office at keeasterday@dayton-mass.gov. That's keeasterday@dayton-mass.gov, or use the email subject line regular meeting March 3rd, 2020 public input and include your name and address for the record. Or please call 508-669-6431, extension 114 during the meeting to leave a voicemail. Again, that is call 508-669-6431, extension 114 during the meeting, and leave a voicemail if necessary. I'm going to call the meeting to order at 6:05 p.m. If everyone would please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Gentlemen, I'm going to entertain a motion to confirm the next meeting date of March 17th, 2021.
I'll make that motion.
Motion has been made. Is there a second?
Yep.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any further discussion on the next meeting of March 17, 2021? Hearing none, let's vote by roll. Vice Chairman Boner.
Aye.
Member Figueredo.
Aye.
Member Woods.
Aye.
Member Cavallo.
Aye.
Chairman Rhines. Aye. Thank you. Going to move on to agenda item number 4 on business 4A, and it's to review, discuss, and act on a letter of support to the open space and recreation plan. Now, before we do take a vote, I want to thank Member Cavallo for going through that diligently. I've done the same. I'm not, very strong in grammatical errors and things like that, but Jeff did pick up a lot, and I believe they will be taken care of and included into the open space and recreation plan. Gentlemen, I hope you had a chance to look at it. It's very extensive. There's a lot of work that went into this plan, and this is going to set the course for the future for the town and by accepting this plan. So I'm going to open the floor up for any questions or comments.
Just so you know, Mr. Chairman, I talked to Bill Napolitano today. He called me to thank me again for going through that. And he said that his tech writer was going through the document, rolling in all the comments that I had just to fix that. So that's right. They are planning on going through those and addressing them going forward.
Thank you, Jeff. we really appreciate all your hard work you've done looking at this. This is a very important document for the town. Gentlemen, so if we have no further discussion on it, I'm going to entertain a motion to accept the open space and recreation plan for the town of Dayton to be sent to Serped for their needs and purposes.
So moved.
I'll second
Motion has
it.
been made. Motion has been made and seconded. Any further discussion on the topic? Hearing none, let's vote by roll. Vice Chairman Boner.
Aye.
Member Figueredo.
Aye.
Member Woods.
Aye.
Member Cavallo.
Aye.
Chairman Ryan. Aye. Excuse me. Thank you again, Jeff, for going through that. And it really is a very important document. I just wish that if the people have the residents of town have the time to look at the plan, it's well worth the read, I think.
It needs more pictures, not too many words.
I'd
Yeah,
I'd like to know where that picture was taken with all those deer.
Don't tell him.
Undisclosed location.
Yeah, because if you look in the back corner, Woody, that picture, it looks like there's a beehive set up in the back. You notice that?
Yeah.
So maybe that's an indicator.
Street.
All right, so maybe that's an indicator. Excuse me, gentlemen, I'm going to move on to agenda item number 4B, and that's the review, discuss, and act on the proposal for engineering review services of Forest Hills Estates. Now, our office manager had been in touch with Green International Affiliates, who are our new engineers, to set up their new review for services for engineering. And you can see the cost is $25,500. And they do have an account that was set up with the town many, many years ago. And our office manager, Mrs. Easterday, has been very diligent in reclaiming and finding out where those monies had gone to. So they were still going to have to set up and retain a 53G account with us and put these engineering fees into that account. So gentlemen, I'm going to entertain a motion to accept the engineering review services of Forest Hills Estates from Green International Affiliates Incorporated of 239 Littleton Road, Suite 3, Westford, Massachusetts.
Make that motion.
Motion has been made. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded by Member Cavallo. Any further discussion on the topic? Hearing none, gentlemen, let's vote by roll. Vice Chairman Bonner.
Aye.
Member Figurito.
Aye.
Member Woods.
Aye.
Chairman Rhines. Aye. Thank you. We're going to be in touch with the applicant. I do believe that our office manager, Mrs. Easterday, has been diligent again in sending out the notice for the newspaper for a public hearing that would be held next month, and all the abutter notices. So again, Carrie, thank you.
You're welcome. It'll be in 2 weeks, actually, 2 weeks from today for the hearing, March 17th.
Thank you.
That's St. Patty's Day.
Yep, St. Patty's Day. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, well, there's not much we can do about the calendar. If there was an added day,
What's that?
or if there was an,
Well, that's a holiday.
Office is open. I know. Unfortunately, that's,
It's called Safe Drive.
yeah.
Not
exactly.
safe- What am I talking about? Slave Drive.
Mm.
So, gentlemen, I'm going to move on to agenda item number 4C, and that's to review, discuss, and act on the solar bylaw amendment. Now, me personally, I have read it extensively, and I'm in agreement with Member Cavallo that if we could possibly not plagiarize, but use a lot of the information in regards to the town of Palmer, I think that would be a route that we could go. But we also need to look in, because Member Cavallo had sent me an email in regards to battery storage facilities. Now, these units that are put in, there's a lot of engineering and a lot of other criteria that goes along with that, and that includes, of course, public safety. And the public safety part of that is that your fire department has to be trained in how to put out these fires for these battery storage facilities. Now, this could be something also that we could include in with whatever bylaw that we decide to go with. But Jeff, this is, I don't want anyone to get mad when I say this, is that right now we're up against a window of town meeting, where town meeting is going to be in June. And usually warrant articles and placeholders are put in usually around the third week of April. So that way, that information goes to the local attorneys and they get a chance to review it. So if we have to make any changes, then they would bring it back to us. So I would respectfully request that we continue to look at this. And the way things are going right now with the opening of just, the United States itself, is that I think that going further down the road, maybe, November, we'll have an opportunity to meet in person where we can make any necessary additions or subtractions to whatever we'd like to do. And it would give us plenty of time for us to set a solid bylaw, have it looked at by our attorneys, and then we'd be able to present it at an annual town meeting. So I don't know how the board feels about that. I know, Jeff, you put in an awful lot of work in, but we're really up against the window, and it's tough to communicate through this process as we're doing now in order to, have, the members make any changes or anything like that. So I'm going to open the floor for anyone who'd like to speak on the topic.
Mr. Chairman, the only thing I would say about the bylaw is that if an applicant does want a battery storage facility on site or whatever, that I think the applicant should be responsible to pay for any training involved and not the town. That would be the only thing I would add to that.
I wonder if it would be appropriate to, since we want to push out getting this bylaw updated, if this board would be open to pushing through a moratorium until we do that, so that we don't have anybody getting in under the radar until we have a chance to formalize bylaws, because otherwise, somebody, not that they'd be able to get through without us running through it anyway, but until we put our heads together and figure out the best approach to do this moving forward, maybe a moratorium is the best approach until we're ready for that.
That's probably a very good idea, Jeff. Very good idea.
Yeah, Jeff, I think that that's something we'd have to look at with, of course, legal counsel to see if we could do that legally under the law. So that's a great question. So I think that's going to have to be brought up.
I think that will only be possible for new applications. Anything that's already on the works, I don't think we'd be able to do anything with. I believe that's the case.
Yeah, I think that would be how we'd have to phrase it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know doing a housing moratorium, there has to be a study involved and there's a lot of things that go into it. So we're definitely gonna have to check. And to touch upon what Mr. Boner said, there's also additional equipment that the fire department will need to purchase to fight these kind of fires too. So we're gonna have to put that off onto the developer also. So, we do have some things to work out. But maybe Terry can check to see if we can have a moratorium, which would be great. And if not, then we're gonna have to come up with a plan B.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna have to figure something out.
So just to elaborate on the battery storage facilities, I did do some research on some other surroundings, but they're really out west. And I came through a couple of towns that had some, but I haven't been able to really do some in-depth research. Just some quick runoffs, and I printed them, so I'm gonna have to sit down and actually read them to see if it actually involves battery storage locations. Some of the readings that I was reading, it was more for battery storage placements for locations of solar fields that were already there. So you have the solar field and then they have their battery storage right there.
Yeah.
Nothing for just a permit for a battery storage facility, which is really what at least that's my understanding of what we were looking for, at least from what that one potential applicant was calling on. But I have been doing some research, so I am looking into it. So a deadline for warrant articles has not been presented yet. So I wouldn't table it immediately. I say keep moving forward. Who knows? Maybe we can, right? And keep working on it. And as long as we can keep pushing through, and maybe we can get it through as long as that deadline, because there was a department head meeting, which I will bring you up to date on that after under public input. There was a discussion on a warrant article deadline, and actually they said that they weren't going to come up with one until the new town administrator comes in and he gets acclimated. So I think we still have some time to work a little bit. Just
Yeah. Excuse me.
food for thought.
Yeah, no, I wasn't mentioning just a table it and just not do anything, but we can
Right.
continue to work as diligently as we can. If we can come up with something prior to town meeting and has the capabilities of going to the attorneys to be looked at, then
Right.
sure, I would say, let's do it, so.
Right. And at the very least, maybe what we can do is, at least really diligently work on the things as you were proposing for the town of Palmer, the language for that. I'll keep working on the battery storage stuff. See what I can come up with on that. I can focus on that for you, on your behalf, until I can find some of that language. If you guys want to keep working on the town of Palmer language, I'm more than happy to do that. If you want to focus on
We
that.
have a battery storage on a developer on Hart Street.
That was, remember they had come to us about a year ago, and that was the unit that's, their solar arrays on Main Street, and they wanted to put the battery storage up off of Hot Street, but they never came back to us again, so.
Yeah, we haven't heard anything further since that first proposal or inquiry. Haven't heard back, but we're kind of preparing ourselves. So to
No, I
speak.
agree, yeah. So gentlemen, I'm gonna ask everyone that, to look over the information that Jeff sent out. And if you have any thoughts or corrections or additions, subtractions, that type of thing, write them down, send them in an email off to Kerry, and, we can put all of our thoughts together and, see what we're gonna do.
Okay, sounds good.
Gentlemen in agreement?
Absolutely.
Okay, great, outstanding. We have a gentleman coming on shortly. I believe he connected. Mr. Hull, are you there, sir?
Yes, I am. Thank you.
We are about 3/4 of the way through our meeting this evening on the planning board. Mr. Leonard Hull is a resident of the town of Dayton, lives on Main Street. Welcome to our meeting. We'd love to have residents
Welcome.
join us.
Thank you.
So gentlemen, I am going to move on to agenda item number 5, and that is the approval of the meeting minutes of February 17th, 2021. I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve the meetings of February 17th, 2021.
And
I'll second the motion.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion on the meeting minutes of February 17, 2021? Hearing none, let's vote by roll. Vice Chairman Boner.
Aye.
Member Figueredo.
Aye.
Member Woods.
Aye.
Member Cavallo.
I think I have to abstain. I wasn't present.
Yep.
Yes, I believe you do. Thank you. And Chairman Ryan's aye, so that's 4 ayes and 1 abstention. The motion carries.
4
Thank you.
ayes.
Do we have any correspondence, Mrs. East, today?
We do not.
So, gentlemen, I'm going to move on to public input. And before Kerry begins this evening, I am going to pull up a few items that have been brought to my attention by a resident in town. And these items are pertaining to the Tommy's Way area of town in Cedar Estates. And the question is that right now they're in a position where the Dayton Electric Light District, I believe, is working in conjunction with National Grid to set the lights up on Cedar Street on poles NG41 and NG44. And for what I understand, this item is going to be placed on their agenda, on the Electric Light District's agenda for their next meeting. So hopefully we're going to get final clarification on what's happening in regards to that situation up there. I also did receive an email from a resident, Mr. Jeffrey Cavallo, and this is in regards to Cedar Street, Tommy's Way. And the question is that we had a walkthrough a few times up in that area, and there is some water that runs off of Cedar Street, and it's pooling on one of the corners at Tommy's Way. And it's continued, it's a nice dam buildup, that type of thing. And from what I understand in my response to Mr. Cavallo was that it's Cedar Street, and the highway superintendent, I believe, in conversation was going to look into if he could do some type of a shallow berm, something to redirect the water, that type of thing up there in that area. So from what I understand also, the Lopes companies are back up there in that subdivision, and they're completing their final work. So I'm sure that we will have our engineer, Mr. Williams, go out and do a final walkthrough with a punch list to see what items have been done and what has not been completed up there at Cedar Estates and Tommy's Way.
Wasn't that part of the punch list that they had to do?
Yes, it was, Mr. Figueredo. And if I may ask the resident, Mr. Cavallo, when approximately was their arrival back at the subdivision?
Was that Lopes?
Yes.
When do they take on the project? I'm sorry, I didn't understand the
No,
question.
you said, I was under the impression the Lopes was going to go back in, and they did have to do a little bit of berm work back inside of the subdivision itself. But in regards to the drainage on Cedar Street, that will be an issue for Tom Ferry to look at, I believe.
Yeah, that issue on Cedar was outside of Lopes' purview. It wasn't part. I mean, it was something we definitely pointed out when we did the walkthrough, but it wasn't something that was being put on Lopes.
It was not.
Not that I
It was
recall.
not, no. No, it was not.
So before, when Mr. Ryan said it was on their punch list, I was going to go look it up. I don't think it is. It's not on there. It's not on their list of responsibilities.
You mean,
Yeah, I believe Mr. Cavallo and Mr. Figueredo, when we went through with their engineer and their project manager, I do believe that Lopes did mention that it was not their responsibility.
I kind of remember that as well.
Mr. Cavallo, if there are any other concerns up there in the subdivision, and would you please contact our office manager with those, as you have been doing, and we're going to try to alleviate some of that, what's going on up there. See if they can wrap things up, get our engineer up there and, button this project up.
Okay.
I'm sure the
Well,
residents that live there would love to have that done, so.
yeah, yes, we would. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate that. I want to go down to, just speaking as briefly, gentlemen, and just to alert the members, is that Forest Estates is going to be coming up, Forest Hills Estates. And I'm sure that the local newspapers are going to be trying to reach out to members for comments. And I prefer that all members deflect their comments to our office manager, and she will answer any and all questions in regards to Forest Hills Estates. We just don't want to run into a lawsuit, because one of us could say the wrong thing, and next thing you know, we're in court. So I think that's what this is all about.
I did see some excitement on Facebook, and I stayed clear.
Smart man.
I have nothing else under public input. If Mrs. Easterday, if you'd like to elaborate on any public input.
Sure. So we had a department head this morning, and I just wanted to bring to your attention a couple things. One is FinCom. Chairman Rhines, you were asking about FinCom meetings. We have not gotten notice yet, and I believe it's my understanding that they were waiting. FinCom had a meeting last week, and I don't think that they came up with a schedule yet. It sounds like maybe they were waiting for the new town administrator to come in before they brought that in, but I was going to double check on that. The other issue was the Board of Selectmen heard from one connection of 200 William Street for the retail establishment of the marijuana facility. As you know, there hasn't been any activity, and I just so happened to be thinking about that probably over the weekend and the past week, wondering what's going on, because it's been nothing. So some representative, and forgive me on the name, but One Connection reached out to the Board of Selectmen, said that they sold 80% of their company and they're gonna begin construction within 1 month. And they anticipate on having that construction done, I think they said about 4 to 6 months. And they are getting ready to schedule a meeting, kind of like a preliminary meeting with the Board of Selectmen and the Planning Board members, just to reintroduce themselves and say, hey, we're gonna start building, and so we can get this ball going. So I know we granted our first marijuana establishment and cultivation special permit, forgive me, on that. So it looks like we're gonna be able to move forward. Thought that was good news.
It is good.
Very good.
And I think that was about it that I really just wanted to report on from the department today.
That's very good news. I just want to say that I believe that Oasis Company, who is a cannabis manufacturer and retailer, they want to look at the property at 620 Spring Street in order to do a grow facility there. I'm sorry, is it grow or is it the manufacturing?
Cultivation,
Cultivation.
Manufacturing. It's
manufacturing.
both.
Yeah,
It's both. So, Bob Bowen, Mr. Vice Chairman Boner, just refresh my memory. Does the planning board need to go in there and rezone that and put a medical overlay district over there? Because I don't believe there's one present at that location.
To my recollection, no, I don't think so.
No, they don't need to overlay to cultivate and process.
Right, exactly.
That's what I thought. It was only for manufacturing and distribution, right, Woody?
That's right.
That's what I thought it was. I thought it read under the CCC laws, which would be the Cannabis Control Commission for those out there.
And
All right,
according to the representatives from Oasis, they are purchasing the mill.
Oh,
They're
wow.
not releasing space, they're buying the whole mill.
Wow.
Wow. Wow.
That's really good
Yeah.
news.
That's.
Yeah, I did hear there was potential possibility of anywhere between 250 to 400 jobs. I don't know how true that is. I think that was in a newspaper.
That's what they said.
So-
They said
So
400 to get them.
it'd be, we'd have to look at, I'm sure the town will look at the distance from the front door to the playground to the church. And I thought that was an issue back in the day, and I thought that was measured out where they were within the confines of the 1,000 feet in both directions. Boy, am I correct in saying that?
No, it's 500 feet from a church, and it's a quarter of a mile from a playground. And the building commissioner was supposed to measure that yesterday. I measured it myself in my pickup truck, and from the playground to the front door of 620 Spring Street was 0.2 miles. So, the building inspector may measure it in a different way, but I went from the playground to the door, the front door. So it was a little shy than a quarter. So if it is shy, then they have to go to the ZBA for a variance. Which
Yeah,
I
that's what I
don't,
thought.
yeah, I don't see a problem with that, but
Yeah. Well, it'd be a good project if, they get the ducks in a row. I think it would be beneficial for the town. It's more tax base and it's going to put, some of our residents to work possibly. So I think that's if it goes through, it's a win-win. And that's regardless of what you think about, cannabis or whatever it is. This is, these are high-paying jobs. And believe it or not, they are pretty skilled in some of the jobs that these people do. So, I think it would be a win-win. I don't believe, members, I don't believe I have anything else on the public input. But I just want to remind everybody before we do adjourn this evening that our next meeting date is the 17th. And, we're going to be pretty busy coming up. So get ready. We're going to be just as busy as the ZBA.
Mr. Rhines, I have a couple questions, if I could.
Sure, Mr. Hull.
Leonard Hull, 760 Main Street, for the record. First question, regarding logins, could you inform the public of how easy or difficult it can be to log into your meetings and how they would go about doing it. I had some trouble getting in this evening. That's why I was late. I apologize.
Mrs. Easterday, if you would, please.
I'm sorry?
I'm gonna let Mrs. Easterday comment on that.
So typically, the planning board does not, unless you're an applicant or someone who is placed on the agenda, the planning board has does not have the login open to the public per se.
Okay,
What they do is they view the meeting from YouTube live. And then if they want to put in any public input, they email me directly or they call my direct phone line.
thank you.
That is so that we can maintain control of the meeting and that we don't get inundated with just various people and what they refer to as Zoom bombing.
I understand.
Yes,
No, thank you very much.
you're welcome.
The other was a comment in regards to the Pure Oasis. That's very important to the town. The gentleman from Pure Oasis said that it would be 400 potential jobs, which would be a great plus for the community. Thank you.
I absolutely agree, Mr. Hull. Absolutely agree. If they can get all the necessary permitting and licensing to go along with this, I think it's a win-win for the town, regardless of what you may think about the product itself. It's, you know, it is a moneymaker, and I would recommend it if you haven't looked into the stocks, you buy now because they're penny stocks.
Thank you.
Those stocks took
You're
a
very
big
welcome,
crash
sir.
a couple of weeks ago. Be careful with the stock market.
Gentlemen, do we have anything else for, anything on the public input? So at this time, I'm going to entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second,
Motion been made and seconded. Any further discussion on adjournment? Hearing none, let's vote by roll. Vice Chairman Boner,
Aye.
Member Figueredo,
aye.
Member Woods,
Aye.
Member Cavallo,
Aye.
Member Rhines, aye. Town of Dayton, thank you again, as always, for watching our planning board meetings. And Mr. Hull, thank you very much for attending with us. And for those
My
that do not know, I believe, I'm not sure, I believe, Mr. Hull, you running for a position with the town?
Yes, I am for the Board of Selectmen. I appreciate you allowing me to sit in on this meeting this evening. And I'm really excited about the two projects that are happening, Spring Street and William Street. Hopefully with public support, that Spring Street project will get a approval by the zoning board.
Thank you very much again, Mr. Hull, for being with us this evening.
Thank you.
Members, again, any comments that you have in regards to the solar bylaws, write them down, send your emails to Kerry. Let's try to get something together. And we've got a lot of work coming up. So, gentlemen, I believe we've taken a vote and we've adjourned.
Good night,
Have a good
everyone.
Thank you, Cable. Thank you,
everybody.
Cable.
Have a good night, all.
Stay safe, everyone.